In the United States, according to the FBI, every 40 minutes a child goes missing. Approximately 840,000 children disappear per year. Many, sadly, are never found, and some are never found alive. In Putnam County, New York, back in 1995, 17-year-old Robin Murphy disappeared. On April 9, 1995, Murphy was last seen at a shopping center. She was supposed to meet her boyfriend there, but never got the chance. Robin's wallet and keys were found a few days later in a grassy patch behind the shopping center. A pair of her undergarments were found in a man's suitcase, but a body had never been found, and an arrest was never made. But the people of Putnam County refused to give up. It has been suspected that Robin's body lies at the bottom of the Tilly Foster Mine, an abandoned iron mine, now flooded with dark and cold fresh water, several hundred feet below water. Several bodies have been found at the site over the years. Some believe Robin's body is at the bottom of this mine. And that is where our next guest comes in. Dan Wright, an expert diver and underwater photographer. He's done underwater lighting work on some of your favorite movies and TV shows, and he's made it a personal mission to find Robin's body in his spare time. He's also the host of the Tech Diver Chronicles. Dan, what a pleasure to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about this case. How did you get involved? It's an old case, but how did you get involved in this case from 1995?
Oh, that's a long story, but I'll try to keep it concise. In 2014, I started diving there with special permission from the owner, and it's a private site. He doesn't really want anybody diving there. But gradually, as I got to know the owner and the caretaker there, they started cluing me in on this missing case of Robin Frances Murphy from 1995. And they told me about the enormous searches that they did there, the police did, in 95 and in 2002 with no results. And we just were diving mostly for just pleasure, but we were also looking for Robin Murphy as well, just in case. And we were finding all kinds of stuff there. But in 2017, we had a breakthrough when we came up with one of her boots. And the mother confirmed it was hers because it was Doc Marten high top boot, and she's a big girl. She was size 10 and shoe, and she was about 140 pounds. And the mother confirmed it was a size 10 woman's shoe boot. And so we were on, the police were supporting us. So we've had their support ever since.
Wow. So you revived the case when you found this boot. But right. In looking at some of the footage here, it looks awfully dark in there. It looks like a very challenging atmosphere in which to search for a body. Can you give us a sense for how big this mine is, or at least this space where you're able to dive?
The space, the footprint on the surface is about 300 by 400 feet, but it's gigantic open pit, and it goes down to maximum 328 feet. So it's conical as it goes down, and it's very difficult to search because, she's been down there for, since 95. And every year, another layer of silt and leaves and all that just keeps landing on top of her over and over and over. So the only way we can search for her basically is be digging in, the silt to look. And once you dig in, it's zero visibility. It's just a total blackout. The video that you're showing right now is I'm at 20 feet. So there's plenty of light there. Where we're looking, it's pitch black.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I think most people, myself included, would find the idea of swimming in a pitch black hole of that scale terrifying. Mm-hmm. What is it like to be that deep in darkness?
Well, it takes a lot of training. I'm comfortable doing it. I've been doing it. I've had like 378 dives there. And 28 dives to the bottom at 328 feet over the years. But the average...
You've gotten all the way to the bottom, the 320 feet to the very bottom of the mine.
Many times. Yeah, it's about, 27 times. I'm going on Sunday for the 28th time. We're searching for her there, but the likelihood that she's at the very bottom, and it's conical, so it's not a big space down there at the very bottom. It's probably 50 feet. But we've searched around and around, but we haven't been digging in, down there because it's so deep that the time that we have at that depth is very limited. I can stay down there for about 15 minutes. And even then, it's like a 2-hour dive with all the decompression. So it's not easy.
Wow. So it's like, I mean, it's like, I imagine it's like looking for a needle in a haystack, to use a tired phrase. But
Yeah.
some of the footage you pull out, I mean, you're showing footage of vehicles that are in there. I'm sure you found other interesting relics in this mine. I guess people just throw things in here.
Endless. There's probably about 2 dozen vehicles that have been driven in over the years. Mostly, kids, they boost the cars and they joyride them and they drive them in. But one vehicle we found in 1990, and it's this one right now that you're seeing, it's a Monte Carlo SS in 1988 that was stolen. And there was a safe in the back of it, and there was rumored that it was mob money, and there was going to be about $1 million in the safe. That was like totally covert where we were looking for, because I was afraid for my life if we found the safe and the mob found out that I had their money and they come up to my front door and have a gun on me. We found the safe, but it was full of mine water. It was empty. Obviously, they stole it and took the money and drove the evidence in the mine so no one could find it. But we found it,
Wow.
and it was a whole adventure just
Wow.
raiding safe. Yeah, and that's the call
So,
right there.
oh, that's a great story. I'm sure the mob is still looking for that car.
Well,
At one point, you
right.
actually, yeah.
Go ahead.
At one point, you actually brought in, because again, you've been doing this for years now. At one point, you brought in a psychic to help
Yeah.
divine what may have happened to Robin's body, and this is kind of an unusual approach, right? But it's not so unusual for some of these cold cases that have gone, bodies gone missing. It's not so unusual for people to start bringing in psychics to try and divine where a body might be. There have been
Yeah.
a few instances in history where a psychic was successfully able to find a body in the middle of the woods. What was
Right.
that experience like? Let me play the video real quick. This is psychic
Okay.
Valentina, who
Yeah.
helped, I guess, got involved. Let's listen.
I get the feeling he left the body and went back up around here to get the brick piece, the cement piece is up there. Because she was passed out, so the body was okay here, and he walked back up to find something in the woods by the steps close by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Valentina.
Well, that was an interesting experience. What happened after that?
Well, she came to the mine. I flew her in, and she was there for one night when she was trying to make contact with Robin. She couldn't actually get a reading from Robin directly, but she did have a vision of what happened with the killer and how he drug her down to the floating pontoon platform and then dumped her in. That was her thoughts, and we searched endlessly. That's where we started our very methodical search of mapping out the bottom of the mine with anchors and lining, and there were different. It's just extremely very. I don't even know how to explain it to the average layman, but we would just map it out and search at one quadrant at a time. And there are 19 quadrants that I've actually mapped out, and we searched thoroughly 15. And we've, eliminated those from possibility of that's where she is not. And that's maybe 1/10 of the mine. It's just taken so long to even do that.
Wow.
And especially now I'm just doing it with me and maybe one or two other men that are actually helping.
So, I guess I guess one of the things you wonder about when looking at a problem this big, the problem is you know that you know what you're looking for, but it's it's dark. Your time down below is limited. There's a lot of constraints on the human body here. Is there technology? Is there any kind of technological innovations that could be helpful in this? Any kind of scanning machines? I don't know. I don't know what this field is. But is there technology that could help here?
There is, but, there again, who's going to pay for it? That's the problem. Everybody's got their ideas and everybody throws, all these, their backs, armchair quarterbacks. Oh, you should do this. You should do that. And it's like, yeah, who's picking up the check? Because, with me doing that.
Yeah, very expensive. I asked the question because I'm curious. I mean, I know that there are other situations in the world where people are looking for what seems to be a needle in the haystack. And I know that we have some pretty amazing technology. So I'm just curious, like in the world, what kind of technology exists to actually operate in such extreme circumstances?
Well, there is 3D imaging that can be done. I mean, we've had all kinds of people throw it out there and offer, oh, we can do it for you, but it's going to cost, I don't know, $30,000 a day, to do this. And I'm just like, wow. And I've talked to, Carmel PD is the ones that are really the ones behind us. And their budget, I mean, we've never gotten any money from them. It's all just been on our time and our dime. So we've gotten some money when I've done GoFundMes, to try to generate some income to help us, because it's very expensive doing what we're doing. We put a lot of money into it, even the site improvements to make it safer so we don't kill ourselves.
Yeah, and this is something that you're not even doing full time. I mean, your daily life, you work in the film industry, and not only that, you work in the niche film industry. You're underwater. What are some of the projects you've worked on?
Oh God. Well, the underwater work I could tell you is maybe my biggest year. I only did 22 days of underwater work. So that's about a month's worth of work. I've done a lot of films over the years. James could probably tell you, but I Am Legend is a big one. War of the Worlds, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And there's a lot of TV shows too. I mean, Blue Bloods, which just wrapped after 14 seasons. Law and Order, Criminal Intent, The Sopranos. It's endless. I mean, we could go all day long, because I've been doing this for about 30 years.
I raise that because I would not be surprised if very soon someone would want to make a movie about this mine and this effort that you guys are executing on a daily, executing on your spare time. It's an extraordinary story, and we thank you so much for the time to share it, give us a little snapshot into a very interesting world. Thank you. Coming up, our viewers peer into their crystal balls and share what the future holds. It's time next for Mark My Words.